Guys, this is Robert here today. We're going to build a hobbyist slash intro GPU mining rig. And by hobbyist I mean I spend a little bit more on some parts that look cool. Instead of going the minimalistic way you might often go to get some quick ROI. And the first part here is going to be hilarious. We got this guessing Chinese made little mining case. Never tried one of these before, but it is a budget option. It's a DIY PC Alpha DB6. We'll see what it's about. It looks like it could be pretty cool. Good to display if you've got, like, this motherboard glows red, got a red dim, stuff like that. It could look cool sitting out in your living room and be a conversation piece for you. Plus you can make a little cheddar as you're doing it. Oh man. Case assembly is my least favorite part of this whole process. I'm guessing we don't need the styrofoam where it's oh my gosh. This looks entirely too crazy. They think I'm going to put on all these USB ports and whatnot. They're crazy. Yeah, we're going to run this pretty minimal. Use the ports that are integrated on the motherboard, I believe. You know, if you wanted to get a little fancier, you could. We've got audio jacks on the motherboard. I don't see why I need front audio jacks on this thing. I guess I could look at the instructions. Okay, and the hard disk stands. I'd initially thought maybe I'd do a dual purpose mining rig, do a little hard drive mining with this as well. But after looking at it, the economics just do not make sense. I mean, hard drives aren't that expensive, but man, you don't get paid very much per terabyte. These are horrible instructions. Please remove what brown vinyl? What the heck are you talking about? Please remove brown vinyl. This thing is insane. This product has been treated with vinyl for the protection of the product. Please remove brown vinyl before assembly. Do not use excess force. Some parts may have pre-traces for easy assembly. I don't believe and pardon me, I've got the sniffles today. You're telling me this shit's supposed to come off? No, I think that's just a ding, not a start of it peeling. Well, why? With this here, it wouldn't peel anyway. What are these people talking about? Okay. This looks bloody horrible. What is that shit? And this, people, is why you spend a decent chunk and get a nice mint cell case. But it doesn't serve the same purpose. So, which are these? P2? Oh, I hear you, phone. Oh, goodness. There's some P1. Oh, this is handy. Look at this. And good, I was hoping it came with these to help hold these damn graphics cards up so they're not just sitting in the slot going wibbly wobbly. Now if they think that power supply that I've got over there is going to go through this hole, they got another thing coming. And I bet it's taller than these. And I have some janky ass looking thing. It's probably expecting me to use about a 300 watt power supply. This might be a bit of an overkill. It's an 850 watt. It's planning on, when this is actually done, doing three 1066 megabytes or 6 gigabytes in it. Today we're going to throw in a 1080 and a 1063 gig. And then Monday I'm going to throw in a 1080 Ti while I wait for the rest of the cards to get here. Oh my goodness. The power switch could be useful. What are those little boogers? Oh shit. You expect me to put, like, hold that up through there and screw? What? Man, don't be surprised if this part gets cut out of this video. Yeah, I'm not feeling this. Can I just screw the motherboard onto this thing? How do I do that? We'll just plop the, yeah, we'll just plop the power supply down there. Won't be very easy to move. Well, you just hold that in. Be like, yeah. Alright guys, I want to cut this off and fool around with this for a few minutes. You may or may not get to see this part. Why is there a power switch button here? Or doohickey. Oh, I bet they have some sort of panel that goes on. Oh, this is horrible. Alright, getting cut off for a while, guys. So we're back with this hobbyist starter rig. Stuff did actually peel off. It was just a pain in the ass. When something says it fits mini ATX and ATX, don't get ATX. Holes don't line up for the motherboard, so it's going to be a bit sketchy. I've got 4 posts that we can screw into, but one end is going to be unsupported. Be a bit tricky. The power supply did kind of fit on. So I guess it's time to try to get this motherboard on there. Pardon me. Thirsty work here, guys. And it would have been nice because there are card supports if you could put the board this way, which again, I guess it was designed to do, but there are no holes that are like one hole I could get to line up that way. So we're having to put this on backwards and with 2/3 of the support that it's supposed to have. That's got to make you feel good. Feels good, man. So what I'm going to have to do when I put the DIMM in and the processor is just use my hand to give a little support to that end of the board. And then we'll see if our cards, we might not even be able to get that 1080 in here. It might be too wobbly. I don't want to put too much pressure on this slot with a gigantor freaking card. So it might just be the 1060, and then I think another 1060 comes in tomorrow. I think it's a 6 gig, because that one's actually going in another rig, and a 6 gig is coming out of it to get the 3 6 gigs for this one. We got all sorts of hoodoo voodoo going on. Shit. Pardon the language there, folks. No, nuts, go that way. This whole thing isn't too sturdy, is it? It needs those daggone drive bays under here. Let's see what happens when we take one of these. Gives a little support, doesn't it? Golly jeepers, you all get to see trying to peel this stuff off. I finally figured out a way, I think. You just gotta, you can't be gentle with it. I don't have the highest confidence that these are gonna stay in. There was some sketchy talk of securing them in those voluminous instructions, all front and back, with sketchy diagrams, but anyway, I would not recommend this case unless you want to heavily modify it yourself. I mean, it could be nice. Well, you don't have room to drill holes on this side. I guess you could re-drill holes and move this all the way up to here, and then re-drill your holes. Yeah, that's a lot of work. This I can't remember which it is. I think it's the Titan. The Mentel, the $140 one is nice. Everything lines up for the most part. But the $180 one, or whatever it is, $184, $189, is the gangsta. I'll try to put links for those, as well as this thing below the video, as well as these other parts that I've used. Assuming if we ever get this done, this might go on all night. Good golly, Miss Molly. There. No, you don't. And our stands that nobody can see are going to look very pretty. They're going to look like the monolith from 2001. You know, I get to see this baller-ass kitchen that I'm in. It might be subject to the roommate coming home from work in a few minutes. I don't have a dedicated room for building / filming. Sorry guys, I thought I'd cut out all the boring stuff. If I get wild editing, I might take this out. But this gives you all an idea of how exciting this case has been. Hold on just a second. Amazon dude dropping some stuff off. We get deliveries all the time here at Casa de Longstreet Comics. They really like to come when I'm not home and take the stuff away. Or others will just leave it out there for the neighborhood hooligans to pilfer. Guys, I'm curious if you all had any experiences with some janky stuff like this, be it a case or something else, IKEA furniture or something like that. If so, tell us about it in the comments below. We can compare and see who's had the worst story. I built one piece of IKEA, and that will be the only piece of IKEA I ever build. But that's probably obvious by the way I'm tackling this and my frustrations with it. I'm not an IKEA man. Heavens above. There's a second set of these. These make your 3.5 or 5 1/4 inch drive bays, and you'd hold them together with the drive. We'll just kind of put them on there as rough little supports for the weight of these graphics cards. It might be that we need all 4 of them. Probably not with the 1060s. Which side's shiny? There we go. Get in the hole. Alright. So there's that. Y'all want to put this processor in or hook the motherboard power up? Speaking of power, we gotta go find our own. Well, we can use this switch. Let's do these switches real quick. They're not gonna reach if I go around, are they? How about this? We've run into resistance. We've run into kinky coiled wire too. We don't need the hard disk drive light. Because guys, despite what I said about this being a hobbyist or beginner build, just for use here in my house, I didn't want to put Windows on it. I'm just going to use CMOS. But it can sit out and look cool. I can't make this shit out. I need some better light. Is that plus or minus? These little fucking things are already falling out too. You know what? We'll guess plus or minus, and if it doesn't work, we'll flip it around. I heard that's what real gangsters do. Be lucky if those things stay on when I move this son of a bitch. P LED and power LED. Dude, fuck all this. Those have got to be right there, right next to the power switch. Well, if it blows up, it blows up. I feel like these should be going the opposite way though. The blue is the ground. Alright, boys and girls. We'll run this little wank right here. They gotta support this motherboard. And this should be nice and red to go with our ambient LED, and what we need, and I think I might have at least one, it's one of those MSI cards that are red with the dual fans. I'm pretty sure I've got at least one I'm going to put on this. Going for a red theme, put in the living room show off type rig. Huh, they actually have the DDR slots numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, not 0 through 3. Okay. Times are changing, boys. You don't forget I'm an old school computer builder. I don't know how you new kids do it. I'm lucky I know what a processor is. Hell, did it not go down there, boys? Oh shit. Well, it was supposed to, but we got her in there. There's the CPU fan right there. This goes quick once you get the freaking janky case out of the way. I wasn't planning on making a 2-hour video. Just real quick things go right, snazzy looking rig. But as is often the case with computers, that's a little too much to ask for. Oh, and I went up a little bit, got this Pentium 4560 again because I was thinking about doing some dual mining. Thought we'd live large on this hobbyist PC, something that if somebody installed Windows, you know, they could run it in their living room and use it occasionally if they wanted. Just mine in the background, something like that. Anyway. Normally I'd use a Celeron that uses a little bit less power, but right now I think we're going to be fine on this with this 850. It's a little bit of power overkill. Where's my little doohickey mabob? It should be right there. I don't like when I don't see it. And there we were, a processor, a sweet little Pentium. Man, I remember when the Pentium first came out. Hot stuff, guys, hot stuff. Trying to remember the first Pentium I built. It's probably for somebody, trying to save up to buy one myself. Okie dokie. So normally I'd just like to face these down, kind of going with the board, but with the location of that fan pins, get out of there, honey. Oh my goodness. We can reach it back around. Oh, I don't want to get my... Yeah, it'll work. So anyway, we put this thing on there, press down, you'll hear them snap. You're supposed to hear them snap. There you go. We'll hook up our CPU fan right here. We've about got us a computer because we're not doing a hard drive. Take a second and get some of this crap out of the way. Here's another look at this fancy ass box. You can tell it's fancy when it's got this silver on it right here. Ultra gaming. And I really just bought this for the 3 full-size slots so I could run 3 cards standing up. It's the only reason I got this board. And then I start thinking, well, I've got the money sunk in the system, why don't I run 6 or 7 with the M2? So you never know what happens. It might get moved into a regular case, and just depends on what video cards are found out there in the wilds. You know, I'd love to be doing 3 of those MSI red ones, but as you guys know, it's kind of catch as catch can. Whatever you can find is what you get. I'm lucky to have 2 1080 Ti's bought at regular MSRP on the way here. One of them might have been slightly above MSRP, but I didn't have to pay tax on it, so it ended up coming out the same or a little better. This Duke card is going to be freaking huge. This one's big enough. This might be the only card we get on here, guys. And this is just the 3 gig. Man, they don't mess around. At least they don't have that plastic all over it like EVGA does. Or do I put the bigger one? Are we even going to have room for all 3? What do you guys think? I think this is not going to be the sturdiest, but I can probably carry it somewhere and get it sitting down as long as those other little supports don't come off. And I'm afraid this is going to be a humongous card. I think it's a triple fan. Yep. I just got a little bit of look at the Longstreet Comics staging area. We've got so much comic related paraphernalia, books, whatnot, boxes of comics around here. It's just not even right. I like these MSI boxes, they kind of do it right. I got lucky and registered a EVGA the other day that died. Good night, look at this thing, guys. This needs one of those damn supports. I don't know how you get under here to release it if you needed to release it. I think we're in. These bloody little things. Get in there, other pin. Too much to ask for you to hang out with your friends. That's wibbledy wobbledy. We don't want to be carrying it around too far. We use this one and maybe bind some of this cable up here at some point. Because if you want it to look cool, okay, I'm gonna go plug this thing in so y'all can see how red it gets, and put this USB key in and see if it's gonna start up on Simple Miner. Be right back. Now this is gonna be fun. The hell is this flashing red at me? That power cord. Got some Cat 5. Never mind these ASIC miners down here. We're getting some of that Litecoin cash on some old S5s. It's a janky SS7 up there. Let's see. Put the OS in, and I might have to use a monitor and see what's going on, and this power switch might not work. No, it does. Look at that red. I think both our cards are going to work. It'll be 3 of those will be much more doable than having a 1080 there. I don't know what it's doing, but all that red looks pretty cool. Alright guys, I like Gigabytes in here. I've got some that have orange right here. They don't have all these other LEDs though. This around the back says G1 Gaming. This is pretty cool. I'm not real sure what the heck's going on with this thing right now. But anyway, I'm going to figure out exactly what it's doing. It's been a pleasure, guys. Have a good one. Make sure you comment below. Hey guys, just wanted to give you an update on our hobbyist beginner rig. Ended up that cool motherboard that had all the red lights on it was bad. Took me a little bit to get another motherboard in day or two. We also have all three 1066 gigs, and you'll notice that due to the spacing of the PCIe slots and the size of the cards, but mainly the spacing of the slots, that these two cards are awful close together. Had to turn the wattage down on this one a little bit to try to get it to run a little bit cooler, because the fans that you can see over here are blocked. But it's a pretty cool little rig in general. This case is absolute crap. I wouldn't recommend anybody use it. You can find some tutorials or examples on YouTube of people just using a piece of wood and drilling some holes. If you want to go that route, I actually have a mint cell rig case on the way that I'm going to put this into, and I'm probably going to get a few more. Well, I've already got at least one card on the way, and up it to a 6 or 8 card rig. But I thought this was a cool little experiment. Yeah, I'm just not too happy about this, but that happens. I mean, these are big cards. You know, you might want, if you want to do something like this, you might want to go with 2 1070 Ti's or 1080 Ti's. It really depends on what kind of stuff, what cards you can get in the market right now. I have noticed that cards are becoming a little bit more available, so you could have some luck. Anyway, I appreciate the views, guys, and I hope you all have a good day.